Springboro is here, and welcome to Springboro 45066 Part 1, the TV news magazine of Springboro, Ohio. In our March-April episode, we'll get a preview of summer activities in historic Springboro. Kerin and Cammie tell us all about it. Vicki and Ally talk about programming at the Springboro Library and at the schools where culinary students are cooking up something good for our astronauts at NSAI. David Thompson, the Coffman Family Y, gives us the scoop on Springboro programming. On Meet Your Neighbor, I talked to our good friend Bob King. It's all happening right now on Springboro 45066 Part 1. We're coming at you from Mr. Burroughs, and Rick and Marcy was gracious enough to allow us to have the place. So if you like the noise in the background, we'll speak a little bit louder. Carrie, another show?
Another show. It's spring in Springboro.
And we're rolling a little bit late. We had lots of scheduling problems with ourselves, etc. So March, April, this will run all the way to the end of April. So that being said, where are we going first?
We are heading to the downtown businesses in the Historic District. I had an opportunity to talk to Kerin Campbell of Campbell Photography and Gifts and Cammie Mosher from Shop Smitten to talk about what those borough bosses have going on.
Let's go see them.
All right. We are in Historic Springboro today with Kerin Campbell and Cammie Mosher. Ladies, thank you for having us into Kerin's shop today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
First of all, Campbell Photography and Gifts looks gorgeous.
Thanks, that's fun to say.
It's really awesome. Love it, love it. And of course, we always love Shop Smitten.
Thank you.
So we're here today to talk a little bit about the really awesome and really busy summer schedule for the Historic District. I know the two of you, as two of the borough bosses on the street, have worked really hard to put together a fun schedule that also, really appeals to all ages and all people in the community. So could you guys tell us a little bit about what is planned in the Historic District?
Well, for every third Thursday of the month, we have our Girls' Night Out. So that's when a lot of businesses are open later and we have snacks and drinks and fun things like that to get people out on the street walking and shopping and just have a good time with their friends. So we get really excited about those every month.
The third Thursday is a lot of fun.
Yep.
Now, I understand we're doing, 2 boutique bashes this year. Tell us a little bit about the boutique bash, Kerin.
Well, the boutique bashes, we have other boutiques come in on the street. And all of us will be running specials. There will be food trucks, boutique trucks, and they are, I have the schedule right here in front of me, May 4th and September 14th. Those are Saturdays. They will be from 10 to 5, and it'll be a lot of fun on the street. Come and check them out.
That is always fun. The streets are packed with boutique trucks, with tents, food trucks. I mean, that's a lot of fun. Now, also in June, we have Art Fest.
Yes, that's always fun too. Lots of artists come in with beautiful artwork, everything from handmade jewelry to beautiful paintings, clay projects, sculptures, you name it. There is a kind of art that will appeal to someone.
And they've got all the kids' activities. So the kids can create a project at Art Fest. They can display their art. And I hear they've got, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 food trucks this year coming to Art Fest.
Always good.
Always good, yes.
And that's June 15th.
June 15th, yep.
So tell me what's new and going on at Smitten nowadays.
Well, now we're finally getting into the spring season, so sun's coming out, which means spring stuff is rolling out, so that gets us really excited for new weather coming in and life to bloom. So yeah, so that's great.
Awesome. Kerin, what's new at Campbell Photography and Gifts?
Well, this isn't new. We've always done it, but I think people don't know it is we do custom framing here. But we also added a gift boutique about a year ago, and we have fun gifts, decor for the different seasons. We carry a small clothing line, lots of accessories, jewelry, purses, you name it. Lots of just little fun things that I've liked, so I've added to the shop.
Wonderful. Well, it is adorable, and you do have beautiful clothes and gifts here.
Thanks.
Okay, so if anybody would like to check out our schedule, how's the best way to find us? Maybe the Facebook page?
The Historic Springboro Facebook page has the list of all of our activities for the whole year coming up through December.
Wonderful, wonderful. So check us out on Facebook at Historic Springboro. And ladies, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Carrie.
Back to you.
Thanks for being on the show as always. It was a real pleasure.
They're great, aren't they?
Let's go get smart.
Yeah, we need to go to the library.
Library. Vicki and Ally?
Vicki and Ally are at the library waiting on us.
And here they are.
Hello, and thank you. On Saturday, April 6th from 1 to 3 p.m., teens ages 13 to 18 are invited to learn the basics of using a sewing machine. Participants will make a pillow, and all supplies and machines are provided. Registration is required, so please call 937-748-3200 to sign up. Now over to Ally Cat for some information.
ABC Pediatrics will host a sensory story time at 10 a.m. Wednesday, April 10th at the Springboro Library. This event for children ages 18 months through 5 years will feature songs, stories, and activities that will encourage children to use all of their senses to experience this unique story time. The program is open to all children, but is especially geared toward children with special needs. Registration is required. Please call the Springboro Library to sign up. I also wanted to tell you about an exciting and educational new addition to the children's area at the Springboro Library. It is our kindergarten readiness kits. We have 6 kits that allow children and their caregivers to explore many topics to help children get ready for school. The kits include games, toys, and books that cover topics like letter and number recognition, sight words, rhyming words, early math skills, and early literacy. We also are adding a STEM-focused kit in the near future. The kits are to be used in the library by parents and children together, and children can get a prize every time they explore one of these kits.
Summer reading is coming up starting Tuesday, May 28th and running until Sunday, July 21st. The theme this year is a universe of stories. Children and teens will use logs to track time read to earn prizes. Adults ages 18 and up will receive an entry form for a chance to win various prize baskets for every book they read. For more information, visit our website at www.fspl.org. Back to you.
Thanks, girls. Vicki and Ally, we appreciate you being on the show, and I know you're really got an exciting thing you want to tell me about.
I am. I said the Space Camp alum in me just really kind of freaked out over this one. We have juniors and seniors at Springboro High School who are getting ready to head to Johnson Space Center in Houston. They are finalists in a competition where they had to create a fruit or vegetable side dish that is not only nutritional and delicious, but also can exist in microgravity, meaning it can be served at the International Space Station. Springboro, our students here, in conjunction with the Career Center, submitted an entry. They're one of the 10 finalists. So they're heading to present their dish. We got to talk to them before they left. Shall we check it out?
I've been getting hungry already.
I am in Kim Harris's classroom today at Springboro High School, and we are talking about a project that is literally out of this world. Kim, thank you for having us into your classroom today.
You're welcome.
So tell me a little bit about what's going on with your students in NASA.
Well, I applied for a NASA Hunch grant for my students to be involved in a NASA project where they were going to create a prototype for the astronauts on the International Space Center. And I applied last October. I was notified in August of this year that they were selected. So I had to get a team ready to go, and my students actually, you'll meet them in a minute, but my students actually were very innovative with their recipe. We had to come up with a recipe that would work in a microgravity environment,
right,
and also that the astronauts would find appealing. And this year's competition was about a fruit or vegetable side dish.
Okay.
And we had to follow fat contents, fiber contents,
okay,
sodium contents. No carbohydrate was mentioned, so that was easy.
Sure.
And of course, make it nutrient dense. And when you're in a microgravity environment, your senses are depressed, so it's like eating food with a cold. So spices would be a good thing.
Sure.
And the astronauts actually contacted the food scientists and said, can you please have chefs come up with the recipes, because the food's not very good.
Right.
So,
and it's no fun to be in space for 6 months to a year if the food is rough.
Correct. So what they've started doing is opening up to high schools to compete. So it's a nice outreach for NASA. It gets these students involved. And who gets to go to the Johnson Space Center? We have to have our names on a guest list. It's just not,
That's awesome.
You can't tour it. So.
Okay, so obviously your students created a side dish, they entered the competition, and then you were notified that...
We were notified that we were one of the 10 finalists in the country.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, that is huge news.
Yes.
So students from Springboro will be traveling to the Johnson Space Center in April,
yes,
to present their dish to the astronauts, literally, and you know, see if we're going to make it to space.
Yes. So
Wow.
it should be super exciting.
That is wonderful. So how did they come up with the recipe? I'm assuming with your guidance, of course.
I told them it has to be nutrient dense. I said a fruit or vegetable side dish, and inquiry-based learning. The students took it from there.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for, you know, bringing us into your classroom today. Let us know how it goes in April in Houston, and I would love to have an opportunity to talk to these students.
Okay.
All right, now I'm joined by two of the students who will be heading to Houston with their Astro Tots to hopefully bring home a win in this competition with NASA. Michael and Eric, thank you for joining us on camera today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the Astro Tots creation.
So the Astro Tots creation went back to first quarter of school, where we had this extra credit project in our global foods class, and we really didn't know where it would take us. We just knew it was NASA sponsored project, and we applied a recipe, and it wasn't until, after spring break or after Christmas break when we heard the news on making it to the top 32 teams. From there, we had a cook-off with Kettering Fairmont, and that cook-off led to the recipe making it to Houston.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about the recipe, if you would, please.
So the recipe is pretty much just apples and sweet potatoes that have been blended with certain spices to make the flavors come out a lot more strongly. The sensory deprivation in outer space makes flavor sometimes fade away, so we spice things up with stuff like Cajun seasoning, paprika, and then added cinnamon. So it was a deep, strong flavor. It almost tasted like Thanksgiving-y, if you will, with the apples and the sweet
Something
potatoes.
to remind the astronauts when they're in space of home, because the smells and the aromas that come from the dish are really reminiscent of Thanksgiving.
So Eric, tell me what inspired you to do a sweet potato and apple dish? I mean, it sounds delicious, don't get me wrong, but where did that come from?
Well, everyone knows that sweet potatoes and apples are very nutrient dense, and in space they're going to need all those nutrients because they're working out like a lot when they're in space.
Sure.
So we figured that sweet potatoes and apples and the mix like that, and like I said earlier, it reminds them of Thanksgiving, like the smell of it, like with the cinnamon and the spices like that.
And the recipe has multiple dimensions in that some people chose a fruit or a vegetable, but by adding both, we have a lot more of a complex nutritional profile.
That's exciting. So tell me, each of you, if you would, what are you most looking forward to, doing in Houston?
I think it's really cool that we get to be judged by a panel of astronauts. It's not anybody who is in culinary experience necessarily, but people who actually experience the food in outer space, and I think that experience is really cool.
Yeah, just what he said. People who actually might take the dish into space,
right,
and just see what their opinions are on the dish.
Sure, sure. Well, gentlemen, thank you. Best of luck in Houston, and stay in touch. We can't wait for you guys to bring home a victory.
Hopefully.
All right, now we have Jordan and Catherine joining us. Ladies, thank you.
Thank you.
Tell me about the dish. Tell me about what you're looking forward to, going to Houston. Tell me everything.
I'm really looking forward to going to NASA because I'm looking to go into chemistry in college.
Wow.
So having NASA on my applications would look really nice.
Sure.
Which is part of the reason that I got into it, because I don't know, chemistry really interests me.
That's wonderful.
I just really like food, and Miss Harris told me about it, and going to Houston sounds like really fun.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It really is. So now you've tried the dish, apparently, and you both like it?
Yeah.
It sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's really good.
So what's the first thing you're going to do when you get to visit the Johnson Space Center?
I'm not sure. We're probably going to walk around and just kind of see what it's like for everyone that works there.
What was your reaction when you found out that you're one of the 10 finalists throughout the nation?
Very shocked. We were actually together when
Mrs. Harris sent the email?
Yeah, and I didn't see it, and then Michael Snapchatted us and said that we were going to Houston. Then we both checked our emails and saw it, and I called my parents, and yeah.
Well, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I mean, when you enter these competitions, it's always nice to think oh, what if? But,
yeah.
It's really neat for Springboro High School to be represented in a NASA competition.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of?
Probably like the way we all came together. We're all really not like that close, but like through this whole NASA thing, we've like really like became good friends.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you for being here, and check back in with us, please, after you get back.
Yeah.
So, ladies, tell me what made you get into, this group and this contest?
Well, when it was our first semester class at the beginning of the school year, it was originally just like an extra credit, like kind of boost our grade thing.
Sure, sure.
And so we're like, okay, well, why not like enter and see what happens? And then Miss Harris was like, well, we actually made it to like a next level, and then we went and competed, and then we actually got to Houston. So just kind of, I don't know.
Did you absolutely freak when you got the email saying, hey, we've made it to the top 10, we're going to Houston?
I think we were just like surprised that we were able to get that far.
Because it's been going on since the beginning of school, so we just kind of, it was in the back of our head, we didn't think it would like actually.
Sure, that it's coming to fruition now. So you'll be leaving for Houston in a few weeks. Tell me, what are you most excited about?
I think the experience and opportunities that we're going to be able to get through this program.
College application.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's great for your resume. So do you know about the other dishes that you're competing against?
We looked at the other schools because we got the list of the top 10, and there's some pretty interesting ones, so it'll be good competition, but I think we have a pretty strong dish.
And I know your instructor, Kim Harris, was telling me that, of those 10 schools, they're literally all over the country.
Yeah.
There's a couple from Texas, what she said, Montana.
California.
Yeah, and I think like we're the only one from Ohio.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, very nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So what are you most proud of?
Our
this?
team.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know each other at the beginning, we all have like a buddy, like pretty much.
Sure.
So like we were able to come together and like work really well as a team.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Well, please stay in touch with us, and we wish you the best of luck. And I know everybody out there in 45066 land is rooting for you too.
Thank you.
Back to you. Well, thanks to the crew at Springboro High School, we are rooting for you, and we will check back in to see how it goes at the Johnson Space Center.
Yes, we will. David Thompson from the Y.
Yes.
Let's go see David.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and welcome back to the Coffman Family YMCA. So today I am standing in our playland, and this area is for kids 9 and under. And with all the segments that we've done out here with the 45066 TV show, this is the first time that we've been here. So welcome to this part of the Coffman YMCA. Hey, we've got some new classes that we're going to be offering here shortly that we want to make sure that you're aware about. So this new class is an instructor-led heart rate monitoring class, and it is super cool. Participants will be guided through heart rate zones to maximize their workout. During the class, you will be able to track and view your heart rate and see in real time how you are performing. After our workout, our heart rate monitoring software will automatically send you an email with performance results and your calories burned. In order to participate in the class, you will need a heart rate monitor. The program is fully compatible with most leading heart rate monitor brands, Fitbit, Garmin, and Polar, and more. It must be an ANT device. If you'd like more information on that, check out our website or give us a call here at the Coffman YMCA. We'd love to see you in this new class. It's that time of year again, and we're preparing for our Coffman YMCA Sprint Triathlon. Sunday, May 12th at 7 a.m. Join the Coffman YMCA in Milanos as we host our annual Sprint Triathlon, with a portion of our proceeds going to our annual campaign here at the YMCA. This race is great for the novice, but also challenging enough for more seasoned triathlete. The triathlon will begin and end at the Coffman YMCA. The start of the triathlon begins with a 300-yard swim, moves to a 10-mile bike ride, and then finishes with a 3.1-mile run. Registration is going on now. If you register prior to May 5th, the fee is $50. We have awards that are available for the top finishers, and it will be a fun time for everyone. Remember, parents, April and May is always a great time to have your children enrolled in swimming lessons. Here at the Coffman YMCA, we have swimming lessons that are available for kids of all ages. From just the little tykes all the way up through elementary school and even into your teens, our YMCA has classes for everybody and every skill level. We also have private swim lessons that are available. So if you'd like more information on any of our swimming lessons, please check out our website at www.daytonymca.org or give us a call here at the Coffman YMCA at 937-886-9622. Thanks for visiting with us today, and now back to you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, David, you and the Y is a great part of the show. We thank you for being on our show as always.
I hear a drum roll.
Yes, Meet Your Neighbor segment. We are at 550 South Main Street, my office. Meet Your Neighbor segment. Bob King, glad to have you. Give me a handshake, my friend. Yeah, I'm so glad you agreed to be on the show. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm from St. Henry, Ohio, which is a small farm town about 90 miles north of here. I went to UD. My wife went to Good Sam. We got married. My first job was in Carlisle in 1960. And we had 4 kids while living there. And then we moved out of state. We moved to New York. We were up there for about 10 years. We moved back to Ohio about 1975. And in the 90s, we found that we were driving down to Springboro for grandkids stuff. Swimming, basketball, baseball, football, dance recitals. And my wife and I talked it over and we decided, why don't we just move to Springboro, then we won't have to do this hour-and-a-half drive 2-3 times a month. So that's how we got here, and we've been here for about 10 years.
We're glad to have you. And St. Henry's, speaking of football, I know that you got to be a proud person right now because your grandson got inducted into the Hall of Fame in Springboro, correct?
Yeah.
And he played for Iowa. We won't hold that against him, no Buckeye fan. But that being said, this is a pretty cool magazine, and it's autographed. Yeah. That's pretty sharp.
He gave some of those to me, and he said, give them to some of your friends. And he wanted me to give one to you because he missed the opportunity to be interviewed by you a couple of times.
Well, there's always tomorrow. We can do it. Yeah. That's not a problem. We're getting back in town and we'll do it.
But that's their media guide.
Anyway,
from,
that's pretty cool.
A couple of years ago.
That's pretty neat. Yeah. And he's in the Hall of Fame in Springboro.
And he played for Iowa for 4 years. And he made All Big Ten a couple of times. He made All-American, second team 1 year. And then it came time to be drafted. And his mom, which is my daughter, my wife, Sean's girlfriend, and her mom were the key influencers in his life. And they talked him out of going pro. Oh, okay. He became an undrafted free agent for the Redskins. But at the rookie camp, he let them know that he wasn't going to go on.
I could talk football forever as a former coach, okay? And you could talk football forever. But let's just talk a little bit about what you do in the community. I know you and I serve on the YMCA board together, but why don't you tell the audience about some of the things you've done through your career giving back?
Well, when I retired, I took up a volunteer job with the Kiwanis Club. I'd been in Kiwanis for about 35 years as the state of Ohio Action Club builder. And an action club for Kiwanis is made up of mentally challenged adults. Ohio has about 88 agencies. Every county has one. And we went around the state trying to develop some interest in forming these clubs. Because what they found out when they started with action clubs was that the members want the same things that we want. Those mentally challenged folks, they want to make a living. They want to be self-actualized. They also want to give back because they all are very aware of all the help that they get. Mm-hmm. So we would go to a Kiwanis Club and give a little talk about action clubs and then try to recruit a couple of guys or women from the local Kiwanis Club to help go to the agency in that county and sell this program. And when we started, we had 2 clubs, and when I finished, we had about close to 40 clubs around the state. And it's just a wonderful project because what they have found is that the mentally challenged adults who are in these clubs develop their own hierarchy, they develop their own officers, and they eventually, after a little help and meeting for a few months, will eventually start local programs to raise money and give it away, just like all the other service clubs.
And you brought that to Springboro with your volunteerism on the Y board.
We didn't get an action club started in Warren County, but I was down here 12, 15 years ago, talked to Lebanon and talked to Mason, who are both strong Kiwanis towns, and it hasn't happened yet here, but I'm hoping it will. And then when we moved here, I had been involved in a lot of stuff up in Mosher County, and my wife says, why don't you cut back? So I cut back a little.
And joined the Y.
And I joined the Y here. And I had belonged to the Y up there, and the Y in that area was between Salina and St. Mary's on the lake, and it was Young Y. And I was involved with starting that, and raising funds and so on. And when I would go out to the Y, there would be maybe 6, 8 cars in the parking lot, nobody around. And the parking lot they shared with Wright State's Lake campus. And when we moved here, I told my wife, I'm going to go up to the Y and join or transfer my membership to the Springboro Y. And I drove up, walked in. Well, first of all, the parking lot was full. There must have been 80 to 100.
We have a great Y.
The place holds. And I went in and signed up. And then each time I went, I began to realize every time I go or come from the Y, there's traffic. There are cars coming and going all the time. And then Dave asked me, Dave Thompson asked me if I would serve on the board. And that's when I found out that the Y had about 14,000 members. And over the past 6, 7, 8 years, the Y now is approaching 18,000 members, from what I understand.
Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about why you like Springboro or why you don't like Springboro? Because I think so many people want to come here, and why we want to make it better and want to make it special. So from your standpoint, what can we do better, or what are we doing better for those people who just got here? Let them know.
Springboro, when I first lived in the area, was 1960. We lived in Carlisle, and we came over to Springboro for our dentist. And between Franklin or I-75 and here, there was nothing out there, a few farmhouses. And then Edwards Furniture built their building out there. That was the first. And then when we moved, looked around the South Dayton area before we moved, we realized that Springboro wasn't just a little old farm town anymore. It had spread out all over the place, and this was about 10 years ago. And the reason we wanted to move here is because 2 of our daughters lived here and all of our grandkids were here. And that's when we realized we were driving an hour and a half for all that stuff. Why not move here? So when we did, we found out more about the area. It has, I think, probably one of the fastest growing areas in the state. Yeah. In our area, which is called the Cove, and it's in Settlers Walk, when we moved here, there were 17 homes. Now there are 55, and it's all built out in the Cove. And it all happened in the last 3 years. The growth of Springboro is just amazing, and the growth has been controlled so that you have the kinds of businesses that are favorable to more growth and favorable to the right kind of people that you want to have coming in all the time. And I just am amazed at the growth that's occurred even since we've moved here, like the Austin area and some of the housing developments in the southern areas. It's a wonderful town. They have a wonderful police department. The city is well run. And the only downside, and this is something that everybody lives with and we accept it, is traffic through the old part of town when there's a function at the schools. And we just have to live with that. Yeah. But that's a minor problem. Okay. But everything else is positive.
Well, I like to hear that. Okay.
And you can't beat having a mayor who's been here for 25 years or 24 years. That says something too.
Well, we love this community, so we all do. So anyway, thank you so much for being on the show. It's a pleasure, and I will see you at the next Y board meeting.
Will do.
Wave bye.
Goodbye.
You know, a lot of things going on in the borough.
A lot of really exciting things. It's spring. We just finished Expo. If we're talking real estate, it's the spring selling season.
And it won't be long. We'll do a concerts in the park. People having picnics, Memorial Day parade, all kinds of good stuff coming at you. So you don't want to miss it. And this is part 1, getting ready to sign off. And don't go away, because part 2 is just around the corner. Part 2 coming up. Bye for now.